So welcome everybody. This is Trader Travis. My Success Academy co-trainer Peter is here again for another weekly recap. Each week we talk about the market, talk about different investments we're in, and everything's for educational, informational purposes only. We highly encourage you not to take, what we're saying as investment advice and try to, model what we do. We want to empower you with the education and the right frame of mind to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then create a plan that works for you. So what I'm going to do first is turn the floor over to Peter, and then I will be placing trades while he's talking. I have a couple of trades I have to place today. I haven't done these live in a while, so I'm excited to be able to place trades again live. And then after that, I have a short admin notice because we're going to open up the Success Academy again for 3 days only next week, but with a huge caveat, and I'll get to that caveat here in a second. With that, Peter, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Hey, everyone. So get some screens out of my way, screens you guys can't see that only I can see. All right, so as we talked about in our last weekly recap, I have no trades. The only thing I did do is I was doing something to show someone how you could place a trade on the platform and have it execute at a certain time frame. But I also was just going to do a short-term bearish spread on SPY, so I did one. It placed this morning because SPY is continuing to go down, and look at that, in just one, not even a full day, it's up 22%. So that's pretty cool. Now, there's a reason why I didn't place it on the real money, and that's because I've made all the income I need for May, and all my short terms like these have never worked out. So I didn't want to take any of that income away. So that was the only trade I really have. We talked about this on our live call webinar. This is my AT&T just kind of playing around with different ideas because my AT&T calls are slightly in the money. They have a long ways. Last I looked at it, they have like still 40 plus days before, but I didn't want to get called away if they're in the money. So I'm just looking at alternatives as opposed to buying those back at a loss, maybe looking at alternatives that if I get called away, I can easily replace it with something else. So, and still keep my AT&T stock. And that's pretty much it for trading. As far as the only other thing I wanted to cover real quick, I know I talk about this a lot, but I want to make sure I'm not confusing, especially our Success Academy members. For those of you that just watch our live YouTube or our free YouTube channel, this won't really make a whole lot of sense, although I would encourage anyone to look at Market Club because this just makes trading so much easier. But when it comes to Market Club and when I use Market Club, I want to be clear that I follow the template, okay? I may adapt certain exit strategies. So we talk about three different exit strategies: time, technical, and profit loss, right? And we incorporate all three of those into our trade plan. You still have to have an order of how you're going to do that. So for example, if I'm using Market Club as my trading template and I'm trading bullishly and I get a bearish signal from Market Club, for example, let's say I have a credit spread, a bullish credit spread, and I get a weekly red trade triangle. That's pretty much telling me that I may need to exit my trade. Now, sometimes I do exit right on that weekly like I did with SPY. Other times I don't, and that all depends on your unique circumstance. You just have to, I can't teach you exactly how I do it because it's an art. It's not just a complete, science, so to speak. It's more of an art to it, and it all depends on your own situation. So I just want to be clear about that. If I'm using Market Club and I get a weekly red, it all depends on where I'm at in the trade and where I'm at with my other exit signal. If I got a weekly red and I'm at a 50% loss, I'm most likely going to exit the trade. If I got a red and I'm still at a gain and I've got a red weekly and I've got, let's say, 60 days left in that spread, then I'm probably not going to exit because a weekly is a shorter term. It's not like a monthly. So that's kind of how I look at it. So if I've ever confused you guys, especially on these weekly recaps, I apologize. But again, I want to just emphasize what I cover on the weekly recap is not designed to take the place of what Travis teaches. And the reason I say that isn't because I do things differently than what Travis teaches. The reason I say it is because I may say something that we don't teach in the Success Academy that I've learned by learning the Success Academy and then doing things on my own after the fact. So, for example, weekly options. We don't teach you guys how to do a bearish spread that has 3 days left in it. We don't teach you guys that. So, but I do those based on what I've done, just working with Travis all these years. So I've learned to kind of do those with his help and his guidance, but it's not something taught in the Success Academy per se. You'll learn other things. The Success Academy is your baseline and your concrete foundation, and you could go based on that and build, and just constantly just trade nothing but Success Academy templates and be successful at it. For me, I like to venture out every once in a while. So sometimes that's what you see in my weekly recaps. So just want to emphasize that if you're using the Market Club template, and you're not sure how to exit with the Market Club template, well, then go back to the template, print it out, and read through it, because it gives you very good steps. And Travis goes into things to look at, things to help you exit or enter based on Market Club entry and exit signals. Okay, so, and then same with our exit template. We have a template out there in the Success Academy that shows you kind of the ways that Travis implements all those into his trade plan. But please understand that you need to do that before you enter the trade. You need to have that all crystal clear before you enter the trade. And then the last thing I'll talk about is selling strategies. I always talk about this. Selling strategies are the weakest position in options trading. And the reason is because you are obligated. And you may be obligated on a Saturday or a Sunday, because if you read through an options contract, it doesn't say you're obligated only Monday through Friday when the market's open. Doesn't say that at all. The market maker can obligate you at any time. And like I've said to Success Academy members, if you don't like that, if you're not in agreement with that contract, then don't get into that contract. Then don't sell options. If you're okay with it and you've built it into your trade plan, then you should be fine. And with that, Travis, that is pretty much all I had, right? I didn't think I was covering anything else.
I guess now you're going to make me look bad, man. I want to talk all this long time while you talked really quickly.
I didn't have a lot to cover because I'm not involved in the market, and I'm not involved. The market isn't setting any trades up for me on the bullish side and the bearish side that meet my time frame. So I'm not involved, so I don't really have a whole lot to tell these guys other than I'm involved in just putting money into my account. Especially to make up for my weekly bearish spreads that keep losing money.
You make me look bad. You're like chilling and all cash. I'm like having to look at the market, making sure my account is not blowing up because I have too many trades open. Well,
there's a downside to it though. You get lazy. And I tend to get lazy, but no, I just didn't have a whole lot to cover.
I know. I like to think I don't have a lot, but anyway, let's move forward. I'll cover the market. Peter and I were talking before we started recording here, this recap. The story the market is telling us right now, we think it's going to either stay flat or continue going down. All the moving averages are starting to point down. But as always, we can't predict the future. We just can evaluate what we see. What we see is the market still saying in the next few days to weeks, it's still have a neutral bearish kind of hint to it. Long term, still up. We look at, whether Peter just showed Market Club, we can pull up. I don't know if I have the Market Club chart pulled up, but we can look at the S&P, look at the 2-year chart, and get rid of all these trade triangles. The long-term trend with the monthly is still green. So the long-term trend is still green, but the intermediate trend, the weekly, is still showing down. So that's, exactly what we just saw on my broker platform, that, hey, in the intermediate term, that the market still wants to go down. We don't know how long this is going to last. And so that's all I have for that as far as my market analysis. That's why Peter's kind of sitting. The market hasn't really given him any signals to place new trades. I'm just managing my current ones, making sure that if the market continues down, it doesn't hurt me too much, making sure I hedge or buy insurance, whatever term you want to use, to kind of balance out my profit and losses in my account. Also, as I talked about earlier, I have some trades to make. I haven't placed trades live here in a while because I trade for the most part once a month, and it's generally not when we're doing these recaps, and it's nothing to record. It's just pretty simple. Once a month, I evaluate the market, place my trade, I'm done for the month, which is easily how we can get the routine down to 10 minutes a day. But these are what I call rental income strategies, like buying a house and renting it out, rent to own. This is in honor of somebody named Corey, which I'll introduce you to Corey here in a second. So I already have these set up. I have them market orders. I generally never do market orders, but for this recap, I want to make sure the trades get filled quickly. And then also, I check the bid and ask spreads are pretty tight, so I'm not going to lose that much money placing a market order versus a limit order. All right, so those got filled. And the reason why I did market order, because I wanted to come here and just to show you the income here that I brought in, just clicking a couple of buttons. And this is once a month. All right, this is something I would do once a month. So 554 plus 447. All right, so that's $2,000 of income that immediately came into my account, pushing those buttons right there. This is for the Trading for a Living case study for Success Academy members. You haven't seen it yet, but
It's more than that.
What?
Right?
More than 2,000?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry. You added the 1120.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Already.
Sorry.
So previously, you can see me buying these stocks. So in the June case study for Success Academy members, when I release that, you'll see why I'm taking this different approach here. So this brought in $2,000. I'll explain it further on in the case study videos. But this is in honor of somebody named Corey. And Corey inspired me, as well as a new mentor I have, to start branching out and challenging myself and challenging my own thinking. And so Corey is somebody that was a Success Academy member. I interviewed him recently for our Hall of Fame. And what I want to do is drop you in probably to about a 1-minute clip of his interview right now.
My one coworker, he told me, he's like, dude, I made like $500 these past 2 weekends doing this side job. And I'm just thinking, I didn't say this. I'm just thinking, I'm like, so I got to enjoy my weekends, and I clicked 3 buttons and made more than that. Of course, that's not every month, but
of course, yeah, of course, but still, yeah, it's possible. You have that avenue where other people don't. Like, no matter if he wanted to, he couldn't. You've built up that skill set, and it sounds like you trade from your phone. Do you do this from your phone?
I do it all from my phone. Yeah.
When send me some pictures, man, when you're like in Iceland traveling around.
I will definitely.
Trading from your phone in Iceland, like, hey, I'm on vacation. I just made $500.
Yeah, I'll take a screenshot of it. I'll send it to you definitely.
For sure. Okay, I'm back. So I will release his full interview probably next week when we open the Success Academy. So Corey, one of the members. Corey was one of the members. And his strategy, he took just one of the strategies we teach in the Success Academy and is using it to accomplish the 5-year retirement plan. And it's the rental income strategy, also known as the part of the Buffett strategy or ETF for life strategy. Those are the various names we use. Now, the caveat here, when I open the Success Academy, Peter and I kind of talked about it on a few previous recaps, is not going to be open to the public this time, not the general public. We want to transition the program to increase the success rate. It's already a super high success rate. The majority of members usually achieve success once they enroll, but we want to stagger out the learning. Sort of like when you go to a restaurant, they don't just dump all the food on you at once. You start with a drink, then an appetizer, then a main meal. So we want to take our training like that. So when I open the Success Academy next week, June 3rd through 5th, it will be only for Market Club option members and 10-minute income trader members. So if you're a Market Club options member, just forward me your receipt. So we'll put you on the wait list. And when I open the doors, I'll let you know. Income Trader members, I'll just shoot you an email when the doors open. And we're doing that so we can spread out people's learning. Instead of dumping them into our most advanced program first and getting them overwhelmed, we want to stagger out the learning so you learn our core philosophy, while we trade conservatively, our insurance concepts. Start you there. And then once you get that, then, advance you to the more advanced program. So I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense, Peter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And lastly, I will end with this. What I talked about Corey, and I said another mentor. About a year ago, in one of these recaps, I talked about a guy named The Wealthy Investor. That's what he goes by. And I had heard this podcast. I enrolled in one of his lower end programs. Well, now it's not set in stone yet, but most likely from this point on, I will be flying to LA once a month to be mentored live and in person by him. He invests in stocks, and that's not something I do. And so I'm challenging my own thinking, my own growth, and I'm trying to learn a different system to see where the holes are in my thinking. If you're a Success Academy member, you've been a member for years like Peter, does our system work, Peter?
Absolutely.
So people are like, if it works, why you learn something different? And I was like, I told Peter, I do what I teach what I do. I've made a direct connection between investing in myself, right? I'm offering Success Academy members, right? Guess what? At the same time, I'm telling you, hey, you should invest in this program. Invest in yourself is one of the best investments you can make. I'm doing the same thing, investing in myself, because I've made a direct connection between learning from other people and my wealth increasing. Even if what they teach is completely opposite of what I teach, it's little things that they can teach you that expands your thinking. For example, the one main reason I started learning from him is because I was playing small. I'd make a certain amount of income each month, and I was good with that, right? We're out of debt. It to me, mentally, it made no sense to make 10x that. I'm like, we're good. We have way more money than we need. What's the use of pushing it? So just sitting down with him live for 5 minutes, and he has me walking away 10xing my goals. And he's like, no, I want you to make, 10x of that a month. And I'm like running numbers in my head. I'm like, I think I can do that. And like, he just pushed me outside my comfort zone. I'm like, oh, wow. All these people I'm learning from all these years never pushed me out my comfort zone like that, but he did. So I was like, okay, I'm going to latch on to him for a little bit to see if he can keep expanding my thinking, and the better I become as a person, the better mentor I could become to all of you. So that's one of the reasons I'm learning from him. So that's all I have to say on that. So any last final takeaways you have, Peter?
The only thing I was going to just say is, based on all of that too, we always talk about it, is that you should always have different streams of income, because there are going to be times when, like, look at where I'm at right now. So I'm not trading, but maybe his system, I could be doing trades, because right now, based on how the Success Academy, how I've implemented the Success Academy, and everyone implements the system a little bit different. Not everyone does it the same. Like we talked about, I can't remember her name now, but she trades one stock. That's all she ever trades, and she's very successful at doing it. Some people just trade calls. That's all they do, and they're very successful. So doing it that way, it doesn't mean that you don't agree. It's just like, why would you have 4 different streams? Why would you work and own a business and invest? It makes sense, because when working isn't working out, your other 2 income streams are. So that's kind of how I see it. And I remember you mentioning him a while ago. I remember as soon as you pulled up that website. So now I'm going to go out to that website and look at it.
Yeah, I forgot to add that caveat. Well, I haven't had any bad experiences with them, but yeah, this is not a, oh yeah, you should sign up for them. Just
no, I know.
My personal growth as an investor.
No, it's just because like you said, I mean, I listen to a lot of different things. I don't listen to as many podcasts anymore, but I'm going to get back into it, because that's another thing. I'm going to get Travis to start posting all the little podcasts he listens to, so you guys can listen to them too, because they help. I mean, you can see how well he does, and that's why. So
yeah. He doesn't buy insurance either. Somebody had asked him, "Do you have any kind of protection strategies for the market crashes?" He was like, "No." Like that completely fried my brain. I was like, "What? That's like, I was like, that's like the devil speaking. Like, how could you not do that?" But I was like, "That's why I should learn from him. I want to know the why. Like, why don't you?" Again, that completely challenges my thinking, completely opposite. That I'm like that because when I first heard that, I'm like, that's just stupid. Like, how could you do that? Like, how'd you? And I was like, no, Travis, stop thinking like that. Like we talked about, we won't say her name, but you're like, she's a my way is the only way type of personal
Right.
finance coach. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that just stays in a box. My way is the only way. It's the best way. I'm like, no, I want to challenge myself and learn from people, even I disagree with. I don't disagree with everything he says, but like, I want to see, why do they feel the way they do? What can I learn from that? I think Ray Dalio, I forgot, it was Ray Dalio is the person who taught me that. Learn from people who disagree with you. They disagree with you for a reason. They firmly believe in what they believe in. Understand their thinking, he said, and then it will expand your own thinking. So anyway, that's it. I'm rambling on too much. So thanks for that last point there, buddy. And I guess that's it. We will see you all next week's recap. And we will see. Well, these trades I just placed are a month out, so I don't have to do anything for a month. And the way I place these trades, I do not give back that money. That $2,000 is mine to keep, buddy. So you all take care, and we will see you next week's recap. All right. Bye-bye.